This is a super fast and ready video on how I swapped in to my Newedge Roush S550 seats. So here is a finished product on this side. It is all in, it has plenty of clearance, and also I managed to pick up GT350 seats from a guy on Facebook Marketplace. Way how I had it set up is it uses the original mounting bolting holes of the stock seats. And let's see, as you can just see, I have power seats wired up. Going to be working on setting up heating and ventilation. When it comes to fitment, the seats actually are not too big. As you can tell, they actually look rather right in there. And I actually have plenty of room. Towards the end of this video, I will do a couple things about, questions people have asked, like do they sit too high? Do they sit low? Are they offset? I'll get to that in a second, but let me show you on the passenger side how I pretty much bolted these up. I'm sure if you're watching this, you probably saw a couple of YouTube videos of how other people did it, and they use cutting and welding and all that stuff, and I want to make this as simple as possible. So here's the bottom side of the passenger seat. What I did is this. Here is the stock mounting points for the S550 Mustang. You can see the square hole right there. On this side, I drilled another one, which lines up with this bracket, which I'm going to get to in a second. I originally was just going to mount the front to the bolts for the seat in the floorboard of the Mustang. But then I realized that, the thing with this generation Mustang is that it's not a flat floor. Its elevator right here goes down right there. So I was thinking about the fact that this is a pretty popular Mustang to swap seats into, and that's why I came up with the idea of like, hey, why don't I just simply get a mounting rack? So this is a low-profile mounting rack I got off of eBay. And as you can tell, the front two holes, which line up with the studs in the floorboard, line up with the holes I drilled in the brackets. Great. Now, let's get to the fun part. So down here, as you can tell, this does not line up at all. What I did is I cut off the stock rear S550 mounting brackets, because right where this golden bolt is, there's actually a hole on both sides. So I did that. I pretty much got some pieces of metal. I cut and fit them so where they lined up here, put some Loctite, and as you can tell, it creates a really effective way to just simply mount the seats in the car. Let's talk about electronics. Now, this looks like a mess because I'm actually not done, but I am going to show you how to at least wire up the power side. I am going to figure out ventilation on the seats because I live in Southern California. It gets hot here, not cold, so that's all I care about. Pretty much when it comes to both seats, this right here is power. It's looks like violet with the orange line. I got to go into these guys. They're all 16 gauge wires. Negative is, looks like black with a purple line. You'll definitely notice on the connector, they're actually going to be separate from the rest of this. Let me see. I wonder if I still have one in the trash. Nope, I threw it in the trash. Okay, so let's see. So yeah, that's pretty much how you would wire them up just for power. On the driver's side, since on a Newedge, there's only power on one side. I just pop this off real quick. Works just like a stock one. I pretty much took the, let's just move this forward because this all works. What I did is I had a spare little connection from a sport bucket seat I had a while back when I used to autocross. And let's bring this. This is from the car. I got off of another Mustang. I then connected right here. This goes to this seat. Then I have this wire going on their side. I don't have it tucked in because, again, I'm going to be working on the wiring pretty shortly to get ventilation working. I just want to have a working concept, so that's how I'm getting power to both sides of the car. Let's talk about what you have to modify in the car. So on this side right here, there's actually a plastic connector that has a wire loom. Just simply take it off, and it gives you more than enough clearance on this side. This side over here, BFH, Big and Hammer Time. Time to just smack this down and get it flat. Once you do, as you can tell, it fits right in with using a mounting bracket from a low-profile seat rack. Altogether, it is a challenge. You do have to have an angle grinder to take the rear feet off of the seat, but once you get it in, it fits. Okay, so frequently asked questions. I have both sides in. This is actually how my car would feel just sitting in the seat stock, which is great. Okay, so does the seat sit too high? No. Actually, I have quite a bit of room. In fact, you can go quite low. The nice thing about this generation of seats is that the lowering mechanism is kind of like internally of the rails, so you actually have quite a bit of adjustability. You can also tilt it back pretty far. Now, I'm 5'10". This is actually a very comfortable ride height. I have zero issues with it. Is it too wide? Nope, as you can tell, actually looks like they were meant to be in there. You know, obviously the color is going to be different than Ford Dark Charcoal. It's easy to get the power to get working. I showed that earlier in the video. So yeah, if you're looking to get a cheap set of S550 seats, I think this is one of the quickest ways to get them in here. One thing I will say, with the way how I set them up, there is one area that is just going to be a pain in the butt, even after hammering out everything. The front is always going to be a pain. The front near the transmission tunnel is always going to kind of suck to get in. Just giving you a heads up, this side was a piece of cake. It's more that this sits up still a little bit high. Once you do get the nut to grip and you crank it down, it actually will flatten itself out. As you can tell, track moves back and forth perfectly fine. I'm now going to have to remember where I actually set this up. But yeah, hopefully this helps whoever is looking at doing an S550 seat swap into their new Edge Mustang.